Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we are doing a video that I don't think I've ever done before and forced me to go out of my comfort zone when it comes to my knowledge of cars. The top 15 best big body cars. For those who don't know what big body cars are, they're pretty much just very large wheelbase, very heavy weight, tons of interior space, luxury saloons, wagons, or SUVs of that variety. And today we're going to go over what I believe to be my top 15 favorites. However, again, I'm not a big body car kind of guy. I don't know much about these kinds of cars. I like quite literally the complete opposite of these cars. Smaller wheelbases, lighter weight, two-seater sports cars. That's what I like. And these are just the complete opposite of that. So I tried to find my 15 favorites, and a lot of these cars, man, are cars that I've probably never even talked about on this channel before. And I actually it was really fun making this video. Like, one of the most fun I had making a video in a long time on my channel, because again, it forced me to look at cars that I never looked at and appreciate some of these cars that beforehand I had never appreciated before. As a matter of fact, you guys know how much I'm not a big fan of Mercedes. I never really cared for Mercedes, but there's no arguing the fact that Mercedes makes some of the most iconic big body cars out there. And so I included some on this list, and after looking them up and seeing some pictures of them modified and stuff like that, I kind of get the appeal. Now, they don't have manual transmissions, so I still don't like them that much, but I kind of get it. Either way, movie of the day is Zombieland, the original Zombieland, because I think it's the better one. But these movies are hilarious. If you've never watched them before, go watch them. They're so funny. They're kind of stupid funny, but like that's a good thing in my opinion. Without further ado, let's go right into it though with the number 15 spot on the top 15 best big body cars. And that is going to be going to the Mercedes G-Wagons. I couldn't tell you what generation they're on for the Mercedes G-Wagons. I couldn't tell you anything about the G-Wagons except for that they're called G-Wagons. And that's not even their actual name either. They're called like the G51s or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about these cars. Not a single thing. I have never once been interested in the Mercedes G-Wagons. I don't like SUVs in the first place, and I especially don't like G-Wagons in terms of their looks. I really just do not care for this boxy design. But there is no arguing the fact that these cars are iconic. They are like the pinnacle of success for most people when they think of like a successful person's SUV. I would say they are the most prestigious SUV in the entire world, and there's a reason for that, and they are big bodies, so you gotta love it. I would love to be able to like sit in one of these one day and just see what all the hype is about, because obviously the hype about a G-Wagon, you can't really tell it on the outside. You have to kind of sit inside one and experience the luxury of it to understand why it's so popular. Coming in at 14th place is actually, like I said in the intro, most of these cars are definitely lesser known for me personally, but there are still a couple that I do know, and 14th place is one of those cars, the Volvo V60. This one might not have been worthy of making this list for most other people, but for me, ever since I found out what this car was, I fell in love with it immediately. I think the new Volvo V60s are some of the coolest looking wagons on the road right now. We don't have a lot of wagons, so the competition isn't really there. But trust me, even if we had a lot of wagons right now, I still think this would be one of the better ones. It's freaking gorgeous in every single way, and it's a Volvo, so it's safe as hell. Now, Volvo apparently is starting to have a really rough reputation when it comes to reliability, which is sad because they used to be such a reliable car brand, but I don't care. Yeah, these things are gorgeous, and they're clearly going the luxury route, and so it kind of makes a little bit of sense that they're going to become a little bit more unreliable once they go more luxurious. Not an excuse, but it just makes a little bit of sense. By the way, guys, are you proud of me with that intro today? I feel like I didn't do any yapping in today's intro. Been trying to cut back on the yapping because I see all your comments, so I keep the yapping for the outros usually, and I feel like I did pretty good today. 13th place is going to be going to the 1959 Cadillac Eldorado. I felt like I needed to include an Eldorado, but I don't know much about Eldorados, so I looked up Eldorados, and I looked up the Wikipedia for them, looked at every year, and this one was the one that looked the coolest to me. I thought this one was the most iconic looking. Those little like flares on the back are just such a 50s classic muscle car iconic thing. And when you're talking about big body cars, it is a necessity to include at least one Cadillac on the list. The other Cadillac I was thinking about including was the Escalade, because those are like really iconic big body cars, but they're SUVs, and we already talked about the G-Wagon, and I didn't really want to put too many SUVs on the list since I am like a mainly car channel, and so I figured this was a better one. And the Eldorado is iconic, you know, even though I don't know much about it, everybody else kind of does, and they do look freaking sick. I really wish I knew more about like 50s and 60s American muscle cars, because every time I see them, I love them. I think they're gorgeous cars. I just wish I knew more about them. Oh, also, I'm sorry if this list is unentertaining, and you guys are like, why'd you make a list about cars that you don't know anything about? I don't know, I thought it would be fun. I guess that's my excuse, but now that I'm actually like making the list and talking about it, I realize it might not have been the smartest idea. But either way, coming in at 12th place is the Bentley Continental GT. This is an actual like sports car. Everything else up until this point has specifically been strictly for luxury, in some sense. Like the Volvo V60, the G-Wagon, and the Eldorado have all been luxurious cars. None of those cars are performance cars, but the Bentley Continental GT is. It's a Grand Tourer though, so it's a GT car, so it has a good mixture of both. While yes, it is definitely fast and very good performance-wise, it's got a V8, I believe, twin turbo, if I'm not mistaken, which is obviously incredible. It also has that Bentley level of luxury and comfort that you've come to expect with Bentley. These cars are freaking sick. I don't like Bentleys. I really don't. I've never been the biggest fan of them. My favorite Bentley of all time is the Turbo R. And the only reason why is because it's like the only sporty Bentley. But the new Continentals, the new Continental GTs, I should say, are very promising supercars in, or sports cars, I guess, in the Bentley line. And from one extremely prestigious, well-known luxury brand to probably the most prestigious luxury brand in the world, 11th place is going to be going to the Rolls-Royce Phantom. There's like, I feel like there's like a, you know how there's like Mitsubishi versus Subaru, Chevy versus Ford, BMW versus Mercedes, and then there's freaking Bentley versus Rolls-Royce. Personally, I would go with Bentley, but in a list about big body cars, I think Rolls-Royce takes it all day long. Rolls-Royce just has that freaking old money vibe to it. Everyone knows if you're in an RR, you are somebody. They are extremely luxurious cars. I've seen them in person. These things are yachts. They are humongous. If you think a Challenger, a Hellcat is big, you haven't seen big. These cars are massive, but it makes sense. They're not going for performance in the slightest bit. All they want is their customers and their passengers to be comfortable, and so in order to do that, the best way of doing that is making the car huge. Just making it humongous, so you have a ton of cabin space, a ton of legroom, and you can put as much electronics and new features into the car to make it as comfortable as possible, and they absolutely nailed it. There's no denying the fact that Rolls-Royce is probably the best brand out there when it comes to luxury. I hate them, and I would never in a billion years spend the money on a Rolls-Royce that they're asking for them, but I understand that they're legendary. Like, this is what I'd much rather spend my money on than a Rolls-Royce. You could buy like 10 of these cars for a Rolls-Royce Phantom, dude, and these cars are sick. Coming in at 10th place, I'm a BMW boy, you guys know it, so of course it's going to be at least one big body BMW on this list. I went with the BMW M6 F13. I think the M6 or the 6 Series line of BMWs is BMW's easily most underrated line of cars out there. It's not even close. Every 6 Series is extremely cool. The E63, the F13, the E24, and even the new one, I think it's called like the F07, or maybe it's the G07 or something like that. I can't really remember, but even that one is actually kind of cool in my opinion, and it's kind of growing on me. These cars are sick. Specifically the F13s, M6s though, are gorgeous. In person, they look so much more aggressive and huge. They are big body land yachts, and it's awesome. And then they have a twin turbo V8 making really good power too. Like, yeah, these are luxury cars and they are big body cars, so definitely not going to be as like fast around a track, like around a twisty canyons as something like a 3 Series, but they are still fast. Like, these are still fast cars. These are still performance oriented cars. They're very similar to cars like the Continental GT in the sense where they are Grand Tourers, and it's freaking sick. I love them so much. I know it's a hot take, but I really do think the 6 Series BMWs are incredible cars. 9th place is, I feel like, going to be a little bit of a controversial choice for this list, because I don't really know if you would classify it as big body. I personally do. I think it should be classified as a big body car, but I can understand the argument to be made about it not being a big body car. It's the Toyota Chaser JZX 100. Listen, I'm a JDM boy at heart. You guys know that, man. I've loved JDM cars my entire life, and so I just, like, when I thought of big body cars, my immediate thoughts went to a Chaser, because whenever I think of large cars, like large sedans, that's what I think of, is a Chaser, because it's one of the most iconic large JDM sedans out there. I love them. They have 1JZ GTEs under the hood. They're obviously a lot lighter than the other cars we've been talking about so far, but that's just because they're a 90s car. Spoiler alert, but we're going to be talking about a couple other 90s cars here in a little while, and they're around the same weight as the JZX 100, and that's just how cars were back in the 90s. They were a lot lighter. It's just how it is. So even the big body cars back then are, realistically speaking, pretty much average cars in terms of today's standards. But the JZX 100 is just iconic in every single way. A rear-wheel drive, 4-door, 1JZ GTE powered Toyota is super cool. Coming in at 8th place, you can't mention big body cars without mentioning like the freaking godfather, the gatekeeper of the big body car world, the Chrysler 300 SRT8. This is like the Mazda Miata of the JDM world, or like the 4th gen Camaro of the muscle car world. It's your entry level big body car. This is what every guy that likes the big body luxury cars, this is every one of their first purchases, because it's relatively affordable and it scratches all the itches of a big body car. It is extremely comfortable, it is extremely large, and it is a box on wheels. It is quite literally the American Rolls-Royce, and the price that they are at is miraculous. On top of all of that, the performance that you get out of a car like this is also really impressive. It's definitely not great just because the car is so freaking heavy. It's similar to something like a Challenger, but it still is really cool to see that they even put a V8 in this thing, a Hemi V8 nonetheless. Coming in at 7th place, though, I did not plan it this way, but it is a BMW 7 Series at 7th place. Would you look at that? Another 90s car. The BMW 740 IL E38. The 7 Series BMWs are easily BMWs like... This is like BMW's S-Class, right? This is BMW's Rolls-Royce Contender, or Bentley Contender, right? These are their big body cars, big, huge sedans that are presidential, luxurious, CEO-style vehicles, right? I've never liked any of them except for the E38. I do kind of like the generation after this one. I can't even remember the chassis code of it right now, though. But definitely not nearly as much as the E38. I think the E38 is really cool. But this is what I was talking about earlier with the Chaser. This is a 90s car. And yeah, it's not big body in the same sense that we see big body cars today. But back in the 90s, these things were huge compared to the average car. My friends, two of my friends, Chris and Matt, they both have a 740i at this point, and it's truly miraculous how comfortable those cars are to drive in them. And they're lowered. These cars are lowered on coilovers, the ones that I've ridden in, and they're still extremely comfortable with like TVs in the headrests. It's miraculous. I feel like I've used the word miraculous 15 times today, but that's the best way of describing these big body cars. As somebody who is used to, you know, lesser luxurious cars, because I like the sports cars stuff, and I like the Miatas and the 3 Series and the 350Zs. Seeing cars that are specifically built for luxury is to me miraculous. Okay, that's what it is. But coming in at 6th place is a car that I literally never really heard of before, the Mercedes S600 W220. This is such an ironic one because, like I said, I've never really heard of these cars before, never really knew how cool they were before. And I did a whole review on them. If you go and look at my Roden's reviews playlist on my channel, I only have like 3 videos uploaded on there. But I actually did a whole review on this car, the W220 S-Class Mercedes, because my friend Dom had one and he let me drive it for a review. And at the time, I loved it. It was so comfortable driving it. And then when I started making this list, I was like, well, Mercedes S-Classes are like the iconic big body cars, right? Let me look up that Wikipedia. And I saw one of these and I was like, wait a minute, that's the car Dom used to have. Oh, I love those things. I'll put it on the list. And there we go. The W220, man. It's on here just because I drove one. Also, by the way, the S600 apparently has a freaking like 5.3 liter twin turbo V12, making like 600 horsepower or something. Those cars are insane. Either way, coming in at 5th place is going to be going to another 90s car. I did the BMW 7 Series, I did the Mercedes S-Class, and it's time to do the 80s S-Line as well. Or the 80s 8 Series? 8 line? What would you call it? I don't know. But it's the Wait, what did I just say? The 80s? The Audis is what I meant to say. Audi's S-Line. The Audi S8 D2 is the one I'm going with. I like the D2 the best just because of the looks, but honestly, every S8 is actually a pretty gorgeous car. Unlike the BMW 7 Series or the Mercedes S-Class, I don't really think they ever missed with the Audi S8. I think every Audi S8 is a really gorgeous looking car, and just like I said earlier with the BMW and the Mercedes S-Class, this is one of the contenders to those cars, and I think it's good. I don't think it's my favorite. I think I would say the E38 is my favorite of those like big body BMW 7 Series, Mercedes S-Class, or the Audi 8 Series. I don't know what you would call that. Again, 8 line, right? Is that what it is? 8 line? I don't know. However, the reason why I put the Audi S8 D2 higher than the 7 Series is because Audi's 8 line has a much better history than BMW's 7 Series does. I like BMW's E38, but all the rest of the 7 Series I think are kind of weak, whereas I like every one of the Audi S8s. Coming in at the number 4 spot, however, this car is just so iconic to me because of the movie Cars and Ramon. Ramon is just a goat, and his freaking car was this car, the Chevy Impala SS 1963. These things, man, oh my god, there is just something special about the way these 63 Impalas look like. Or it is like I love the weird flared like rear ends of these like 50s and early 60s American cars. They were just so peak. I don't know who was designing these cars at the time, but we need them back because they had character to them, so much freaking character to them. It was unbelievable. You could tell every single car apart from the rear end alone. It was great. Nowadays every single car is the exact same like thin taillight design that every other car has. It's impossible to tell whether it's a Lincoln or a freaking Porsche 911. It's so annoying. But either way, the 1963 Impala SS, iconic big body car. All the lowriders love to put hydraulics on them and throw them up into the air, which is the coolest thing of all time. From one classic big body muscle car to another classic big body muscle car, third place, and I would say the most iconic, most well-known big body American car of all time, is the Lincoln Continental 1965. The Lincoln Continental in general is already a just overall very, very iconic car. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know what car I just thought of? That's an iconic big body car that I forgot to put on this list. The Volkswagen Phaeton. That just popped into my mind out of nowhere. So that's an honorable mention that I didn't have on this list. But there you go. Volkswagen Phaeton. That's a really cool car. But yeah, the Lincoln Continental, man. Oh, man. The way the doors open is just already aura. And then JFK got shot in one of these. That's kind of aura too. Like it has like, it's got some blood money to it too. Like everything about the Lincoln Continental 1965 is just so cool. It is so, the design of it is just so freaking cool. I'm not saying JFK getting shot was cool, obviously. I'm just saying like it has that history to it. It's got a messed up history. So it's like probably like drinking at bars and it's like, yeah, I don't care about no girl. And you're like, oh, that guy's kind of cool, you know? Coming in at second place, however, I don't know what I was saying with the Lincoln Continental at the end of that entry there, by the way, so I apologize. But second place is going to be going to the Lexus LS400. It is just not a Mark Roden video without me glazing the LS400 at this point, man. The LS400, in my opinion, is one of those just cars where it's like, no matter what you're talking about, it always makes the list. Unless it's a list for bad cars, because this car is just incredible. It scratches the itches for absolutely everything. And at the end of the day, even though I mention it in a lot of my videos, that it is technically a big body car. This was Lexus and Toyota's answer to the Mercedes S-Class Rain, the BMW 7 Series Rain, the Audi 8-line Rain. It was their answer to giving the common man the luxury and comfort that CEOs had, but at half the price. And Mercedes hated it. Mercedes hated it so bad that they freaking decided to go and reverse engineer an LS400 to figure out, my bad, how in God's name Lexus is managing to sell them for so cheap while still making a profit. They were that innovative. The LS400 is just iconic. It is just legendary. And again, you may not think of this as a big body car because it's a 90s car, but back in the day, back when these cars came out, this was big. Honorable mention for today, because I don't even know if these things are actually going to end up existing, and I feel like they just kind of popped in my mind, but right now they're absolutely sick. If they look how they look at the concept car versions of them, and if they actually end up launching with like cool motors and stuff like that, then they're going to be insane. The new Genesis G90 Wingback Magma, pretty long name there obviously, but it's like a RS6 Avant competitor made by Hyundai or Genesis, but same thing. I'm gonna say it again, man. Miraculous. The plain and simple miraculous. They also have like a saloon version of this car with a side exit exhaust. What? Like, dude, what is Genesis? Who is cooking over at Hyundai? And then they have a supercar version of like the Magna line as well. They are just absolutely demolishing the competition. First the Envision 74, then they did that like retro car design where it like looked like an 80s car but with modern features in it, and now this, they had even like 10 years ago with like the Genesis Coupe and the G70s, the launch of Genesis as a whole. Hyundai has just been cooking recently, and if this car exists, it's going to be one of the most cool big body cars we have right now. But first place, I kind of hinted at this in the intro a little bit, kind of teased it a little bit there, but easily in my opinion the most iconic like big body car of all time just has to go to a Mercedes, and the one I chose was the Mercedes CLS 63 AMG. Couldn't tell you the first thing about these cars. I'm just gonna be honest, man. I'm not a Mercedes guy, but I understand the hype behind them based on looks alone. After looking at pictures of these cars, after seeing the levels of luxury that these interiors on these CLS 63 cars have, it is truly cool. It is something that like you just don't see in the cars that I'm interested in, and I like it a lot. Really, realistically speaking, any Mercedes could have gotten first place. This is just the one I chose because it was the one that I saw that I liked the most in the pictures I was looking at. But almost every Mercedes is kind of a big body. Even smaller sized Mercedes like the C63 AMGs are bigger cars. And so any of them could have gotten this spot. So this is really just like a Mercedes-Benz spot in general, but I went with this CLS63. That's such a mouthful for some reason. AMG specifically because I think it's cool. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 15 best or most iconic or most popular or my favorite, whatever you want to call it, big body cars of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos I'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or any of my other YouTube channels or any of that great mumbo jumbo. And I will be leaving a comment down below with my new YouTube channel called Giggity Plays, where I will be uploading, and as of right now I'm uploading Dying Light gameplay, but I will be uploading any sort of video game gameplay in the future. So if you're interested to watch me play video games for whatever reason, that's where it'll be. I kind of started it just because I wanted to have a place to yap and not bother like the main channel, while also trying out new games, because I've been playing video games for like 15 years of my life at this point, but I've never played story games really, and everybody always talks about like, this story game's great, this story game's great, and I'm just like, oh well, never played it. So I wanted to try out some new ones, and it gave me a reason to, so I figured it would be a good idea. But yeah, if you're interested, it'll be the pinned comment. It's called Giggity Plays. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This was such a fun freaking video to make. If anybody has any other ideas similar to videos like this, where it's like videos that Mark Roden would never really talk about, cars that Mark Roden would never really talk about, I would honestly greatly appreciate it, because this was so much fun. I had a blast making it. I know the views will probably be low because again, this is not what most of you guys signed up for on my channel. It's like big body cars. A lot of you guys like probably the same kinds of cars that I do, because it's the majority of the videos that I make are videos like that, which makes total sense obviously. But I don't know, I just think it was a lot of fun, and so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it was fun for you guys to watch and everything. But anyways, oh, and also I do apologize for not knowing much about the cars I was talking about. I realized like halfway through the list that was probably a bad idea to make a video talking about cars that I don't know about, but I thought it was fun, so I don't know. I think it was a good time. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.